What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Head Ass Garage. In today's video, we're back at Dallas Karting Complex to rip around on some go-karts since our actual cars aren't exactly working at the moment. Now, we actually released a video on Dallas Karting Complex already. The link to that should be popping up right about now, as well as being in the description below if you want to check that out. But Dallas Karting Complex is currently undergoing some track renovations, so the course is different than last time. You can check out their website, also linked below, to see the changes to the track. We'll also be sure to film a video on it once the track is complete, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss that video, and go ahead and hit the like button on your way down. Alright, without any further ado, let's get to karting. Head out on track, you can see me weaving on the straights and braking hard into the corners to get some temperature into the tires and brakes. We were actually the first ones out on track for the day, so the tires, brakes, and motor are all cold. We also got quite a bit of rain the night before, so I'm using this lap to get some temperature into the kart and also keep an eye out for water on the track. As this is a new track layout, the first race will be primarily for learning the track and finding new lines around it. Heading into turn 4, you can see my tires are still cold, creating a lot of understeer. You may also notice the small lake in the apex of turn 5, which makes things interesting later in the video, so be sure to stick around for that. And with that, that's a full lap of the new layout at Dallas Karting Complex. Skipping ahead to lap 3, you can see that heading into turn 1, I turned in far too soon, causing me to get some oversteer on the exit. These karts are pretty underpowered and only make good power up top, so anytime you have to lift, it falls over pretty hard and bogs down, and it becomes really hard to make up that ground that you lost. Just in front of me is Marcus's mom, who made insane improvements from race 1 to 2. Going into turn 4, she had a shallow line covering the inside, so I went for a switcheroo, which didn't quite work. It did set me up well for the outside line around 6, where we get the move done, albeit outside of track limits.
Starting lap 3, you can see me pulling on Josh in the straights. Not sure if he had a slower kart or I just had a fast one. His oversteer on the exit of turn 1 allows me to close up the gap. He cuts across my line at turn 3, forcing me to lock up and leave the track. Catching up in turn 5, I get boxed in by my mom. After 7, my mom looks back at me, meaning she won't let me by easily. Into turn 1, I take the wider line, giving me the inside and the overtake at turn 2.
Skipping ahead to lap 6, Josh waves me through just before turn 6, giving me clean air to get a good time and putting him on the chase. Starting lap 7, the clean air gives me 5 consistent laps before setting my fastest lap. Hopping on the end of 7, I cross the line with a 43.4. At the end of lap 8, I go a tenth and a half quicker with a 43.25. Finishing lap 9, I improved by 5 hundredths for a 43.2. Similarly, lap 10 improved by 0.04 of a second for a 43.16. Lap 11 goes marginally slower at a 43.25 again, only 0.09 slower, but also leads it straight into my fastest lap.
Turn 1, I turned in late, no bog, perfect line. Turns 2 and 3, I hit the rumble strip for entry and exit. Turn 4, I turned in early, causing a decent bog. Across the finish line with a 42.6.
Hopping on board with me now, we're about to start lap 13, which is my fastest lap. Heading into turn 1, I lifted a little on the main straight, which cost me a little bit of time. I also get a little oversteer after turning in a little too early, but I correct it quickly so that I don't lose much time. Turns 2 and 3 you can take flat out. Into turn 4, I turn in later to get a better run around turn 5, taking as tight of a line as possible without picking up too much water. Coming around turn 7 onto the start-finish straight, I finish with a 42.943. Now we'll switch to a side-by-side so you can see the difference between our fastest laps. Skipping ahead to turn 4 of lap 14, I'm closing in on Marcus's mom, and similar to lap 3, I cut to the inside to get the outside line around turn 5. As we round 5, the checkered flag is out when I get pit maneuvered from behind. Not sure if he didn't see the checkered flag, but he went straight into the back of me as soon as I lifted.
We got Bend Over, 42.6, Sasquatch, 42.9, and then my mother, 47.5. We're not far off.
Are these tires cold?
Yes, sir. That was the next thing I was going to say. This row of carts has not been run today yet, so all of these carts are cold, your tires, brakes, but most importantly, your engines are cold. So stay heavy on that gas for about 20 seconds to warm them up. If you do let off early and they stall out on you, raise your hand. We'll come start you back up.
Skipping ahead to lap 3 of the second heat, you can see there's already quite a bit of traffic. This heat had 10 people in it, whereas the first one only had 5. So coming around turn 3, I take a sharp line to try to overtake cart number 5 around the outside of turn 4. He gets pinched out behind cart 4, allowing me to get a double overtake. Granted, they aren't defending hard and only your time really matters, but I needed the clean air. Jumping ahead to lap 4, I've got Marcus's mom ahead of me, who isn't as easy to overtake as other people on the track. Around turn 4, I thought of doing the switcheroo again, but was more cautious knowing she'd close the door. I try to get an inside line into turn 6, but get some oversteer through the water at 5. As we turn onto the main straight, I know I'm just close enough to get a little draft, so I duck my head to get just a little more speed so that I can dive bomb turn. I have a little too much speed and understeer off the line, but it's enough to get the move done. Coming off a fastest lap on lap 6, which you'll see soon, I get a lot of oversteer and understeer in turn 1 of lap 7 as the tires are beginning to overheat, which is fine because there's traffic ahead. Coming around turn 3, I took an inside line hoping to get the outside line around turn 4. Me and kart 29 also got a nice overtake on either side of kart 5. This slots me in behind number 29, and I was hoping to get another draft down this straight, but it didn't quite work. Skipping ahead to lap 9, I'm still stuck behind him and he's pulling away from me on the straights. To make up for some of that time, I go into turn 1 quickly, which loses me a lot of time. But as you can see, it doesn't matter too much as I catch him in the corners again. Coming around turn 4, I went in a little too fast for a gap that didn't exist, and he clearly wasn't the happiest either. Around turn 5, and yep, black flag. You can clearly see the steward pointing at me. All I did was give him a little smooch, man. The black flag was a little confusing, but before we get to that, we're going to see how Marcus's race is going.
Turn 3, I hit the rumble strip for grip. Turn 4, I slotted in behind Josh to take advantage of the gaps left over from my overtake. On turn 5, water on the exit causing heavy understeer. Turn 6 into turn 7, Josh pulls away as my tires were wet and I had no grip. Turn 5, my mom spins out after going directly through the water, introducing me to the wall.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
I guess it counts as an overtake. Turn 6 into 7, I got a super easy overtake as the guy took a far inside line. Turn 1, lap 12. Kart 5 turns in late with way too much speed going wide into turn 1. I was able to take a shallow line and get the overtake done. Turn 5, I caught up to traffic. I took the inside line into turn 6 to get the position. Starting lap 13, I accelerated past kart 4 easily. Going back to lap 10, I'm starting my fastest lap. Turn 1, perfect line, no bog, great exit speed. Turn 4, I turned in early, managed it beautifully with no bog.
Jumping back to me in the pit lane, the person in front of me is asked if they had spun on the track because a spin means an automatic black flag. They said no and were on their way. This guy here was great, super helpful the entire session, and essentially just said to leave room and coast if I'm getting too close to other people.
Yeah, if it's getting kind of saucy in the turns with other people, your best bet is just get off both pedals and coast.
Okay, thank you.
Heading back out on track, I had a nice pocket of clean air that I kept until the end of the race, allowing me to get consistent low 42-second lap times. Going back to lap 6, I'm just about to start my fastest lap. I get a little oversteer through turn 1, but more importantly, I avoid bogging down the motor. I take a wider line through turn 3 than I'd like, missing the rumble strip, which can give you a lot of extra grip. I get a little oversteer again on the exit of 5, pushing me a little wide. Onto the main straight, I cross the line with a time of 42.034 seconds, which is only 66 thousandths off Marcus's fastest lap.
Coming to the finish of Heat 2, I pick off one more Carter as they spin just before the finish line, and that's race 2 done.
Jumping straight into lap 4, you can already see the traffic. This heat had 15 people, 5 more than the last. I get one overtake on the inside at turn 5 before lunging down the inside at 6 to pick off cart 24. Carts 8 and 21 have better exit speed, breezing past me and Marcus, who's in cart 1 to my right. On the left, the 2-stroke GT Max breezes by. We're hoping to get a video with that cart soon. Marcus and I sneak by number 8 at turn 1 in the gap they left for the GT Max. Just before turn 2, I wave Marcus through to give him clean air. Coming into turn 4, I get another overtake on a slow moving cart, pinching him slightly before turn 5. Number 24 is very slow moving and on the racing line, so I go on the inside through 7, and with my better leave, I overtake easily. Going out wide, I was able to cut inside and pass number 5. Still stuck behind number 14, I get a lot of wheel hop through turn 1, which bogs down the motor pretty heavily. Catching up in turn 2, I spot an outside line around 3, which gave me the overtake going into turn 4. On lap 11 now, turn 1 is still giving us problems, especially since the tires are beginning to overheat. Staying flat, I use the rumble strip for a bit of grip out of 3. At turn 4, I was a bit ambitious with my overtake, coming in pretty late, which can be risky. Do as I say, not as I do. Someone chose to swim in the lake, and now turn 5 is a slip and slide. And with the cart in front of me spinning out, there wasn't much I could do but slide around the barrier to avoid contact. Between getting spun out in race 1, being black flagged in race 2, and now sliding off in race 3, safe to say today is not my day.
Well, somebody took too much water. Hey, that's a new track though.
Getting back out on track, I couldn't even finish one more lap before the checkered flag.
Jumping into lap 2, I'm about to go on an overtaking frenzy. Lap 9, I'm starting my fastest lap. Turn 1, I turned in early, bog avoided. Turn 2 and 3, I hit the rumble strip on entry and exit, which gave me a great line leading into turn 4, which I got a small bog on. Straight, I crossed the line for a 41.941, getting me into the 41s for a second time.
little wheel hop in turn 1 bogs the motor heavily. Rumble strip out of 3. Motor bogs a little in turn 4. Small oversteer out of 5. Slide in 6 with wet tires. Yet somehow still cross the line for a fastest lap of 42.456.
Another overtake in turn 4 after they'd spun. I collect one more in turn 5, bringing the total overtakes to 14. And that's the end of race 3. And that's a wrap at our time at Dallas Karting Complex. This video took a while to create and edit, so if you enjoyed, please leave a like as it helps us out a bunch. Our next video will be on the S2000 or the Buick. You guys will see it when we post it. Then again, thanks for watching. Peace!